Hello. This was a very strange and scary bowl turning. Have a look at the face in the middle of the screen here. Of course, we didn't discover this until after the turning. This bowl came from the very base of the trunk of the fallen tree. It's about 3.5 feet in diameter, I would say. So it's freshly sawn wood. So I cut a nice big square block of the trunk of this tree out into a blank to make the biggest bowl that I could put on my lathe. I actually cut out the pith so it's not in this piece of wood. Now the weight of this block is about 25 kilos, which is just over 50 pounds. So it was a fair old lump. What I actually did was cut it into a hexagon shape, then mounted my faceplate very securely into the center and put it onto the lathe. When I got it onto the lathe, I just noticed there was one spot that was touching the bottom of the bed, so quickly took that bit off and we started with the turning. When I'm turning something as large as this, I always put my tailstock in just to give added support and security. So then we start the process of, facing the material off. Now you'll notice throughout this video I do take shots from several different cameras, from several different angles, showing you the spread and the kind of mess that bowl turning and any sort of turning makes. And as a rule, the larger the turning, the larger the mess. And of course, a lot of it gets on you, as you'll see throughout some of this turning. You'll notice during my wood turning videos that I use several different methods of cutting with a bowl gouge. And that is, I'll do a push cut and I'll actually do a pull cut as demonstrated here. I also demonstrate in this video how far the chips can travel. Of course, they'll travel across the workshop and all over you as well. So now I'm starting the very gradual process of making this bowl blank circular or round, taking off all the corners. That's a bit of a long job, so I'll just let you watch this. And here again is the shavings coming off and going over my right shoulder. That is actually preferable because otherwise it fills your shirt up. And it's at this point now that you can actually see the imperfections in the wood, and that actually works in our favor. It turned out to be an absolutely stunning, beautiful bowl. And this is a classic example of the shavings filling your shirt up and your pockets and everything else. So now I've started to round the back off, as it were. Of course, this is very similar to hollowing a bowl out, just in reverse. The actions are quite the same. So I swapped tools now to a round nose scraper. Now this takes out the majority of the tool marks left behind by the bowl gauge. Now I always use a bowl gauge for doing 90% of my turning. Now at this point we're putting in a tenon for my big chuck. This thing still weighs quite a bit, so I needed a substantial way to hold it without it coming out of the chuck and going airborne. So now the long process of hollowing the bowl out. Now I keep the steady or the tailstock into the center of the bowl, and I will leave a support in the center of the bowl and machine the rest of the bowl out, because this is the safest way of bowl turning that I can come up with. I've had bowls, when you think, oh yes, they're solid, and you're machining away, and all of a sudden they just break loose and take off across the workshop. So this is the safest method that I can come up with, and that I've come across, that is the safest way to certainly hollow out a bowl, especially a bowl of this size. I've had quite a few people ask for some slow-mo while I'm turning, so here we are, here's slow-mo, especially for those who require it. And you can see it's a nice, even cut, or as even as you can make it. And I find that this is the easiest way. And of course, it's at this point you're beginning to see that there's something special inside this bowl, and you can see the grain and the imperfections there. Absolutely stunning. So I've got rid of the tailstock now, and of course things can become slightly more delicate. So the cuts are a lot shallower or smaller, and you take a little bit more care, because there's a lot of work gone into this bowl at this stage. So you really want to sort of take it easy, and you don't want to ruin things. So that's what I'm doing right now. I know a lot of you like to see the very sort of end of the bowl turn and the finishing, but not many of you like to see the sanding, so I sort of chopped out the sanding part, and I've just left in the finishing of the bowl. It takes about 5 or 6 coats of this with some drying in between. So I hope you've enjoyed the bowl turning today, and please press like and subscribe. And at this stage, I would also like to thank my patrons, because it's the patrons behind this channel that keeps it going as it is today. So thank you everybody for watching the video and taking the time to watch the video. And I hope you pop in to see another one of my videos. So for me now, it's bye for now.